Today's topic is percent of change. We're going to do about 3 different things with percent. Percents are so crucial to understanding our business world, our world in general. Everything has a percent involved in it. Your paycheck, the money in the bank account, the things in your business, the school, church, there's all based on percents. Crucial. We'll take a simple one. We'll do something out of the stores. $50 item. Business buys an item, $50. They're going to sell it. They have what's called a markup. A markup is where they do exactly what it says. They mark it up. They want to make a profit. So they have to get some money in order to pay all of its employees, the electricity, the computers, make a profit, stay in business. If you have a 10% markup, that means 10% of 50. Now the way I do it, take the decimal, 10%, 0.10, times 50. Of course, if you know your math and you understand 10%, it's just moving the decimal point over one place. $5 markup. It went from 50 to 55. 10% markup. Those of you that like to do the proportion, I like to multiply. $50 times 10% is $5 markup. If you want to do it the way maybe sometimes people do with the proportions, $50, right? But you want 10% markup. Well, 10% is 10 over 100. So out of 50, 10 out of 100, what out of 50? How much out of 50 would be 10%? Now there's several ways to do this. Some of you could go look at that, well that's twice as big, so this is twice as big, so it's got to be 5, right? $5. Or you can cross multiply. I like to do cross multiplying because it'll work on all of them. All of them, not just the ones that are easy. 50 times 10, 500. Divide both sides by 100. You get the same result. Of course you get the same result. By the way, the shortcut on this is multiply these two, divide by the third one. You'll find out your answer. Those are not too bad. You might have decreases too. When do you have decreases? You have decreases when you have sales. So much taken off, done the same way. That's called a discount, by the way. But the real thing today is, let's say you marked it up from 50 to 60. This is what the whole lesson's about. Percent increase, percent decrease. You're going to have a markup in this case, but you know what? It's not a 10% markup. It's not a 10% markup. Here's how I explain it. It did go up 10. I don't think I've ever had a student that can't figure that out. Well, it went up 10 bucks, but it's not 10%. It's 10 out of the original. Can't stress that enough. $10 out of the original. $50. Alright? That's a fraction. 10 out of 50, 1 over 5, 20 out of 100, 20%. The thing about percents is it's always out of 100. So you can have different amounts, 50, 20, 75, 2, 5, but percents always out of 100. Number one error. Number one error. Year after year, student after student. It's where it began. It went from 50 up to 60. 10 out of 50. Well, let's say I go from 60 down to 50. Let's say last year we had 60 kids in a club. This year we only had 50 kids in a club. What's the percent decrease? Well, once again, it's easy to see. It went down 10, but it didn't start at 50. It started at 60 and went down to 50. 10 out of 60, 1 out of 6. 1 divided by 6 on the calculator. By the way, there's no 7 back there. The calculator rounds it. 2 places over. Well, why isn't it 20% like it was before? Because we went from 60 down to 50. 10 out of 60, not 10 out of 50. It's where you began. It's where you started. Like last year's, we started with this, we came up. Last week's, we started there, we came up or down. It's the original. You have to have the original. Why? Because percent, if you put 10%, that means 10 out of 100. But you didn't have 100. You only had 60. 10 out of 60. 10 out of 50. Percent change, very crucial. Our government, our businesses, or churches, what's the percent growth? What's the percent in giving? What's the percent growth in schools? Very crucial. Subtract them. That's true. Subtract them. But put it over the original. Make it into a fraction. Divide it. Move it over 2 places. You got your percent, and then you can talk about it in the same language, the language of percents.